Netflix. Remember when everyone thought it was finished back in 2022? Fast forward to today, and it's up over 450%. And Morgan Stanley just named it their top pick with an 1150 price target. But here's the real question. Was this move hiding in the charts the whole time? Let's break this down from top to bottom to find out what the technicals were saying back then and what they might be telling us right now. All right, let's get into the Netflix chart from the top. And when I say the top, for anyone that's new here, I mean the monthly chart. And I always use TradingView for all of my charting on all assets. So if you want to get access to TradingView, click the link in the description and you can get a discount with my affiliate code. Now, on to Netflix. You'll see I have some key levels dropped on the chart. I always use bright yellow, so when you return, you'll know if you see a bright yellow line, it's a pretty important level. So I've got the all-time high. Again, this is going to serve as resistance for right now until something changes in the future. That's at 1064. Also got 692. That's only resistance right there because we haven't really had a full test of that, at least not on the monthly. Then I've got 465, primarily because of this support in this area and this resistance right here in July 2023. I've also put in 256, where we have two valleys right here of support. I've marked June 22 as the low for the market during that time that we're talking about. I've also got a Fibonacci back to the all-time low of the stock, running all the way to the December high in 2021. Because what I want to visualize, and I'll use the replay tool so you can see, what I want to visualize on the chart is what was happening before this most recent breakout that doesn't, like at this point, hasn't even shown any signs of cooling off. So we were definitely in a nice uptrend. Here's the March 2022 low. It was a blip on the radar because everybody was inside, right? We were all consuming Netflix at a high rate along with other streamers. Totally transformed the cable industry and satellite to streaming for the most part. It was a huge gotcha, but I digressed. And it went on a bullish run. You can see there were very few bearish candles until we got into September 2020. And then we kind of started trading sideways, made one more push high to 692, and then it was literally candle after candle after candle negative. So the first thing that I see is that Fibonacci that I ran from the all-time high up to, the all-time low, all the way up to the all-time high at that point, which was in November 2021, is a 78.6 retracement on the Fibonacci. So that's the first thing, the very first thing, and this is on a monthly chart. We go down to the weekly chart, and I'm going to expand the RSI. Was there anything on the RSI that would have told us anything? And I'll need to move this to the side so we can really see what's happening. So what I do see on the RSI is a little bit of reversal divergence. You can see, and I'll draw a quick trend line so you can see the RSI at this point bottomed out. It was somewhere around 18, 19 on the RSI, and it's a 14-day moving period RSI. And you can see the trend was up on the RSI while we were still making equal lows on the chart. So that reversal divergence plus the Fibonacci, two things telling us. Go down to the daily, and I actually have the RSI divergence indicator in TradingView on here. It's a free indicator inside of TradingView. And it had bullish divergence on the daily with these two lows right here on the chart. So that's three things. The 78.6 all-time low to the all-time high, the weekly had bullish divergence, and the daily also had bullish divergence. The next thing I want to show you is price action on the daily. So when we made these double bottoms, you could almost call it a triple bottom, but we're not going to get into the semantics, but you at least had price creating equal lows. Then we had an impulsive move to the high side that bumped into this resistance, pulled back, and then broke higher. I like to call that a 1, 2, 3 move. It just basically tells me that we're in fact in at least a short-term uptrend. So from here back down to here, and then the impulsive move here. That was to me the fourth thing that said, okay, this thing could be turning around, even if it's just for the short term. Then we had the magical retest of the 256 support level. And at that point, price continued to make impulsive moves to the upside, never breaking below the previous lows. So I'm gonna clear all this up, and then I'm going to zoom out again so that you can see what happened after that. It literally did not stop. Found some resistance at 485, retreated a little bit, and then took off for another impulsive move. Nice little pullback here, found resistance at 692, which was the previous high in December 2021, and then busted through that, retested it here, and took off to 1,000. There you have it. Now, here's what really caught my attention is that this exact pattern showed up before the major move even started. The clues were there, clear as day, but most people missed it because they were too focused on the headlines, and I mean the headlines were bad. And this is why I go top to bottom every week, every month, because the charts always speak before the news does. Stick with me. We're about to look at what's happening right now, and you're going to see some similarities for the next leg up or the next leg down. So now, what could the charts be telling us now? Well, whenever you get to a chart and you hit an all-time high, most people will tell you, if you're learning technical analysis, you want to look to the left. But there's absolutely nothing to the left on this chart to provide any guidance as to what may happen in the future. But what you can do, which I like to do, is drop this yellow bright line on the chart right at the all-time high, and then I start to look for what I like to believe is one of the greatest reversal patterns known to man, which is the head and shoulders. So I'll put the replay on and I'll show you what I mean. So previously, this was the all-time high, right around 945, and we had an impulsive move to get there, and then we started a slight correction. If we continue to play this forward, and I'll speed it up just a little bit, it started to break up. At this point, because we were at an all-time high, naturally, and we've been trending 1, 2, 3 moves over and over and over again. The world, everyone is thinking we're going to break up and possibly come back down again, and then break up again to make another all-time high. That's what everybody thinks at this point because it's been going on for over 2 years. So why would anything change? And that's where the head and shoulders comes into play. So if we press play again, you can see it ran up to the resistance, ran up to the all-time high and started to retreat. I want to take those off so we can see it. So everybody's anticipating at this point, even with this correction to this place right here, that, okay, this is just our normal pullback that's going to take us through the all-time high of 1064. What I like to do is go ahead and say, okay, well, we're at a new all-time high. Let me drop my head and shoulders on there. So there's the left shoulder, here's the head, and this could actually be the left shoulder. And if it is, we could go all the way back to 692. Now, I'm not telling you that we're going back to 692, not by a long shot. I have no idea. And if anybody tells you that we're going to 692 and it hasn't happened yet, they're lying. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. Run. But what I can do is set up for the trade that could potentially tell me and indicate early that we're going back to 692. So in this case, we got the right shoulder. And now all of a sudden, just like we had in 2022, June 2022, we have an impulsive move down, a pullback, and a new low. It's the exact same thing that happened in the opposite direction at the bottom in 2022. And we just finished a pullback. This would be an optimal place if I believe the market is going to make another leg down, even if just for the short term, to place a trade to the downside and potentially let a trail stop run me all the way to 692 support where we could face some resistance. Now, I could absolutely be wrong in this head and shoulders. There's a strong possibility. But because I have my back against the wall on this 1, 2, 3 move and I'm entering on a pullback, I can get into the trade. Again, I'd want some confirmation. I can get into the trade and set my stop loss just above this most recent pullback. Because if price pulls back above this shoulder, chances are we're going back to test the high and there's no need for me to still be in the trade. So I can hop into this trade, which I don't really like the ratio at 266. I prefer a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1. But you get the essence of what I'm sharing here with you and how you can catch an early, intermediate, short-term, intraday trend reversal on Netflix. Then set yourself up, if you're looking to own this share, own this company long-term, set yourself up maybe around 692 with some profits on the short down to buy it up moving forward. Or if you're an options trader, a put here and then a leap call right around 692 if the price action says let's get into it. So from top to bottom, let's recap. Jot these levels down. 1064, which is your all-time high, and it's not perfectly drawn. 692, call it 693, 485, 256. And then you've got your Fibonacci levels. You know how I ran them. You can also drop a Fibonacci from the top down here. And I'm going to get rid of the other one just so we have a little bit better visibility. And you can see that that 38.2 retracement is just above the 692 level. So there's definitely an opportunity for price to make its way back here and still be just in a minor correction. That's the beauty of the market. Even in a pullback, even in times like this, it's still just a minor correction until things really implode over the next support levels. So whether you believe in Netflix's next move or not, that I've shared with you on the chart, the technicals are setting the tone again. And this breakdown gives you a blueprint, not just for Netflix, but for other stocks as well that find themselves in the same position. If you want to trade charts like this with me live every Monday, come join the community. I'll drop a link below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment with this next ticker symbol you want me to chart from top to bottom. And I'll see you next week. Now, here's what really caught my attention is that this exact pattern showed up before the major move even started. The clues were there, clear as day, but most people missed it because they were too focused on the headlines. And I mean, the headlines were bad. And this is why I go top to bottom every week, every month, because the charts always speak before the news does. Stick with me. We're about to look at what's happening right now, and you're going to see some similarities for the next leg up or the next leg down.